All right. Welcome back to another Nook Fears story time. When y'all know the demon glasses go on, that means I'm about to get animated. And that means I got a good story for y'all. And none of it is exaggerated, as usual. So, I want to bring you guys a story time from way back in the day, from my childhood days, about when I got punched in front of my childhood crush. Now, this is my very first childhood crush, my very first official crush, the first girl I ever really liked. I'm gonna tell y'all exactly how that moment went down. So, I got my YMCA shirt on because I used to go to the YMCA during the summertime, back in elementary or whatever the case may be. Uh, they had a summer camp program, and shout out to the old OG crew that was there: Will, Jaleel, Jamaris, uh, uh, D, yeah, all Kristen. Uh, so many people went there. Um, but the main character that was there that I was focused on was a girl named Asha. Now, Asha has disappeared off the face of the earth. This is her. Um, she has not been seen alive on social media since 2017. I believe 2017 was her last post. Now, I have done my best to try to find this girl. I don't think she has passed away because I haven't seen that, but she has gone completely dark from the world, from social media, anything like that, since 2017. So that's weird to me because if you knew Asha, the Asha that I knew back then, I could have swore by the time we got to this point in life, she'd have took over the world. Um, Asha, if you out there, where are you? Check in. Let us know you're alive. OG crew, if any of y'all have had any contact with Asha, how is she doing? Is she okay? Is she alive? Let me know. But so back in the day, during the summer program, like I said before, Kristen and Asha was the top two girls there. Now they had another one. Her name was Tiffany, little tall, caramel, brown skin thing with the natural curly hair. But she was out of my league. I wouldn't even worry about that. She was well developed at an early age, out of my league, and so was Kristen too. I never thought I had a chance with Kristen. Wouldn't even going after that. Just like to flirt a little bit. But Asha, man, Asha was the first girl that really matched me. Like it just lined up. Like she was into sports. She was athletic herself. She was funny. She was highly intelligent. Like she was going to be somebody in this world. I just knew it. And we aligned so perfectly. And I'm just like, this the girl, man. I'm gonna get this girl, man. Like this, like I look forward to getting up every damn day to go to the YMCA to see that girl, right? So there was this guy. And for the lack of memory, I cannot remember what his name is. I really don't. But he was somebody that let's just say he was one of those kind of guys that was just feeling himself. You know what I'm saying? He just thought he was the guy. Um he was older. I guess, at the time you could say he was the guy, but at that time I didn't like people like that, which is ironic because now I'm King Himothy. I mean, look at the chain. But back then I couldn't stand dudes that was just always feeling themselves, thinking that they was better than everybody else and stuff like that. And I just felt like that's who he was. Now, he didn't necessarily want my girl, he wanted Tiffany. But the thing is, he felt like he could have any girl there that he wanted. And he would always talk himself up and stuff like that. And up until up until the point where we got into it, I had never really crossed paths with him. I had never gotten his way. I never, said anything to him. Said he never said anything to me. We never crossed paths. But I remember there was a day where we were all sitting at one of the tables with our age group, because it was tables by age group. Um, and he was just talking, right? And I don't remember what he was saying, but I must not have liked what he was saying because I believe I actually responded to something that he said. And it kind of took the whole table by surprise. Now, I know the OG crew might not remember this was so long ago, right? But he was saying something, and I said something back. And he just kind of looked at me like, did you just say something to me? Type stuff. And we kind of exchanged words. Like, I was a little further down to the table. I was sitting right in front of my crush, Asha. I was sitting right in front of him. He was further down at the end of the table. So something was said, and he was like, you ain't gonna do nothing, no. Like, he was inviting me. He was challenging my manhood. He was like, you ain't gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Now, for context, at that moment in time in my life, I had not learned how to fight, right? I knew nothing about hand-to-hand combat. I was way out of my league when it came to fight. But peer pressure is a mug. When you're challenging somebody in front of a table of your peers and you are being punked as if you're scared, something has to be done. I'm right in front of my crush. I can't just go back and forth with this man and then he challenged me and then I backed down. So what ended up happening was I got up and I started to approach him. Now, when I start to approach him, I'm trying to figure out exactly what the fuck am I going to do when I finally reach my journey. Because at this point, I don't know how to fight. So am I really going to hit this man when I get over here? I hadn't figured that part out yet. So I get over there and I stop right in front of him. He's sitting down, right? He look up at me. He say, what? And my stupid ass, I go take my backhand like I'm a pimp, and I tapped him on the side of his face, right? I didn't even double tap. I just tap, little quick tap, and the whole table was shooketh. Like, did he just smack him? And now this how you know I was scared, because I didn't even stand there to wait for a reaction. As soon as I did it, I walked back to my seat. Now, when I walked back to my seat and sat down back in front of my crush, I felt like the man at that point, because I was just like, yeah, you see, I just did that. He ain't do nothing. He just sat there. So this is how he really got me. He didn't respond immediately. This is how I knew he was real tactical. He waited until I got comfortable. He waited until everybody kind of moved on from what happened and everybody was having their own little conversation. So I'm talking to my crush, right? I'm talking to my crush, and there's two other people next to us, and we just kind of having a four-way conversation. So I'm in the middle of speaking to her. And the next thing I know, out of nowhere, there's this giant fist that is pressurized into my eye socket. Now, as soon as he hit me, everything went dark. I woke up in the ancestral plane. Now, never in the history of African Americanism has one black man been knocked out cold with one punch until me. So I am in the nether realm, right? And I wake up and I'm with a whole bunch of dead people. And I said, damn, is this the end for me? Is this how it happened? I say, he didn't just send me to glory. I am dead. And I see the ancestors. And the ancestors are like, you may want to lay there for a few seconds before you go back to your body. That's going to leave a bruise. So after about 10 seconds of being in the ancestral plane, I snap back to my body, right? When I come back to life, at this point, everybody is looking at me like, what are you going to do? Because at this point, I had just came out of a grade 3 concussion, which means loss of consciousness. I was gone. So I just came back to my senses. So it's like, what am I going to do now? He just knocked me out cold. I must respond. So You know how people get really mad and they just start like they revving up their anger, like they're gonna do something. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, let me rev up because I'm about to put the pause on him. It's about to be clobbering time. I'm about to Hulk smash him. Pause. Right? So I'm revving up my engine. I'm because he just did this in front of my crush. Like, I gotta respond. But what happened was after a few seconds of revving up, I realized that this man had hands of stone and he just knocked me out cold. Do I really want to get up and throw down with this man who clearly has pure intentions of murdering me in front of my crush? Right? So I had to make a conscientious, barely conscientious business decision to be like, you know what? I was wrong because I decided to hit this man first and I had this coming to me, no doubt about it. I brought this on myself. I did this to myself. But so I made a decision to just have my head down and just be looking mad like I'm gonna do something. But nothing that I couldn't move. Like at that point, he knocked polio into my body. I couldn't move. So the camp counselor came over. They got me up from the table. Like they had to hold on to me because I was still woozy. They had to hold on to me and take me to the corner. They say, "Are you okay?" I said, "Hell nah." He just knocked the fuck out of me. They say, "What happened?" I say, "Well, I went over him and I did a little tap tap, and then he came over to me and he did pap pap, and I was out." And next thing I remember, I'm talking to you. Um, and that's just kind of how it happened. So they decided that um we needed to apologize to each other. And I'm just like, apologize to him for what? He just knocked me into another gender. Because at this point now I got a high pitched voice. I can't even talk normal. Now I'm female. Why do I have to apologize to him? But taking accountability, I realized that the only way out of this was to apologize, or else we both getting kicked out of the camp. And at this point, I had already lost the girl. When you get knocked out cold like that and you don't respond, and you don't do anything, you've lost the girl. I done just proved to my crush I am not a protector. At that moment in time, no, I am not a protector. He got me. Soon as my head hit the table, I lost her. And lo and behold, she did end up picking somebody else. I don't blame her. I would have picked somebody else too because what? You just got knocked out and you did nothing. So, but I enjoyed the camp so much and I still wanted to see her. So I apologized, right? He apologized. We go our separate ways. I come back the next day. Now I'm thinking to myself, how do I get a smidge of my respect back, right? You show up because I could have easily tucked my tail and just ran and not came back. But I was like, nah, I'm gonna show up the next day. So I show up the next day. I see people snickling and giggling and giggling and snickling. I'm ignoring it. I go up to them. I say, hey, we good? Yeah, we good. And that was that. We went our separate ways. I ain't got no beef with you. You ain't got no beef with me. Cool. We ain't gotta mess with each other no more. But yeah, that was the first time um I had ever been punched in my face. And it was a real wake up call because I was like, this moment can't happen again. Now, I don't have that problem nowadays because now I am trained for hand to hand combat. But back then, the man the man pretty much sent me halfway to Jesus. I had to see my ancestors before I got to Jesus. And they told me it wasn't my time yet. But he almost sent me to glory. And at that point, I gave up. I gave up trying to get the girl because I'm like, there's no coming back from this. She's never gonna respect me. At this moment in time, I'm gonna just leave it alone. So that's what happened. I left it alone, and lo and behold, the Asha ended up moving away, and I think I may have had one conversation with her on the phone after that, and then I've never seen or spoken to her since then. That was a long time ago. So, yeah. So yeah, I got punched in front of my crush and changed my entire life. And that's what happened. But what I will say is the lesson in this is stand up to bullies. Even if you get knocked the fuck out, stand up to your bully and let them know you are not going to be punked. You are going to stand your ground and you're going to do something about it. Stand up to bullies, even if you get knocked down. I know I did, but I got back up. And here I am today, a better man for it. But yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know about that moment in history. Yeah. So I hope y'all enjoyed that story time. I know it was short, sweet, and to the point, but that's kind of what it was. That's kind of what's the point. I ain't want to harp on it because I'm starting to get flashbacks, and my other eye that he didn't punch is starting to hurt. So tune in next time for the next story time, and I'm out.